Again, going way back to the decision to snub Caitlin Clark from the last year's Olympics. Now, we know Christine Brandon made a book pretty much calling her out. Now, they had a back and forth last week or so. We reported on that here on the channel. Now, she has definitely made it her business to say little things about Caitlin Clark, say little subliminals about her, and different things like that. And she's really not a fan of the Caitlin Clark department. It don't seem that way.
Minnesota's head coach confronts media inquiries about tonight's Commissioner's Cup encounter against Indiana, with particular focus on the opposing team's star player, whose availability remains uncertain. The high-profile contest has attracted considerable interest, especially given the strategic ramifications of roster decisions affecting both organizations. The featured player's status has been listed as uncertain, representing a calculated move by Indiana's coaching staff to maintain tactical ambiguity. This approach forces Minnesota to prepare for multiple scenarios while preserving Indiana's strategic flexibility until game time. Such uncertainty underscores the player's transformative impact on opposing game plans.
The Indiana Fever, for them to win tonight, they're going to have to do something that they have not done since the 19th of June, 2022. And it's beat a team above 500. Lads, they have beaten one team above 500 since Caitlin Clark's freshman year. They have beaten, since Nalissa Smith has entered the league, without Caitlin Clark, they've beaten one team above 500. One.
Recent observations suggest the star player has been absent from visible team activities. Sources indicate no participation in pre-game preparation sessions and limited presence at the venue. However, involvement in previous days' practice creates legitimate questions about actual availability despite current absence. The relationship between Minnesota's coaching staff and the prominent player continues generating attention, particularly following earlier controversies involving national team selections. Tensions intensified after published criticisms from media personalities, resulting in public exchanges between involved parties. Subtle references from coaching personnel suggest ongoing friction with the emerging talent.
But I don't know, man. But she spoke with the media today, and this is what she had to say. Let's pull it up right now. Now, her and her team spoke with the media in regards to the Caitlin Clark thing and playing the Indiana Fever today, and the things that's going on with their roster too. Let's check out some of these clips.
Yeah, it's kind of our superpower, the connection that they have.
Today's media availability featured discussions about Minnesota's core identity and competitive advantages. The coach emphasized natural chemistry among roster members, highlighting their mutual trust and connection as foundational strengths. Off-season evaluation processes focused on identifying sustainable elements versus exceptional individual performances. Leadership addressed concerns about preserving team cohesion while avoiding divisive personalities. Questions arose regarding whether successful chemistry could withstand external pressures and changing circumstances. Ultimately, confidence emerged about foundational relationships enduring through challenges.
And it was the 2022 Chicago Sky. They beat one team. One team and one team only. You guys think that is a false stat. They did not beat a team above 500 for the entirety of the 2023 season. They didn't beat, ironically, till I think the 30th of June last year when they beat the Mercury. They didn't beat a team above 500 last season for half the season. And then afterwards,
player interviews revealed acknowledgement of Indiana's competitive determination, referencing their pursuit of the prize. Terminology suggesting championship ambitions or financial rewards tied to tournament success. These comments reflect elevated stakes beyond regular season competition. Multiple media representatives provided ongoing updates throughout preparation periods. Practice observations confirmed the star player's absence from accessible portions of team activities, though previous participation suggests potential availability remains possible. This pattern creates genuine uncertainty rather than strategic misdirection.
The belief that they have, their love for each other, I think is something that is so organic. And I know when I was in the off season and we were considering whether you just run it back, what do you do with this team? Is it enough just to say, keep the team together? Or, and the things that you look for, what's repeatable? Were there performances that you kind of go, okay, that's not going to happen again? what's repeatable. And the core of our identity was our chemistry.
Venue photography documented Indiana's preparation without their featured player during media-accessible timeframes. Coaching decisions emphasized long-term considerations over immediate competitive advantages, maintaining flexibility until mandatory disclosure requirements. Strategic implications transcend single-game impact, forcing comprehensive scenario planning from both organizations. Minnesota must prepare for dramatically different tactical approaches depending on personnel availability, while Indiana preserves maximum optionality in their strategic approach. Coverage highlights broader narratives surrounding the players' inaugural professional season, including rookie impact and attention generated for women's professional basketball. Individual presence significantly influences attendance patterns, television viewership, and overall league visibility metrics.
They then went and beat the Mercury, they beat the Lynx, they beat the Liberty, all before the All-Star break. And then after the All-Star break, they come out, beat the Mercury again, who I think finished below 500 in the end. Were above 500 at the time. They beat the they beat the Storm. They beat the Sun. They never beat the Aces. Was that it, actually? Yeah, you know what? They were 500 against teams above 500.
Minnesota's organization maintains focus on established identity while adapting to external pressures. Emphasis on team chemistry and repeatable performance demonstrates confidence in existing roster construction, regardless of opponent personnel decisions affecting tonight's competition. The Commissioner's Cup format introduces additional motivation beyond traditional standings, creating heightened intensity for all participants. Tournament implications extend competitive significance while providing unique showcase opportunities for emerging talents.
And I had to ask, like, are we going to have the disease of me kick in? Are we going to have some stuff? Things are always different. And is it repeatable? And we made the determination that it was. And it has been. Now.
So that was Cheryl Reeve speaking with the media. There's some more clips too that I'm about to pull up right now to show you guys, because it wasn't just her, it was her players as well, talking to the media today. And let's play this one right here.
Current intelligence suggests genuine uncertainty about availability rather than calculated gamesmanship. The combination of recent practice involvement and current absence creates legitimate ambiguity about physical condition and readiness for competition. Both coaching staffs must balance immediate competitive objectives with player welfare considerations. Decision-making processes involve multiple factors beyond simple victory calculations, particularly when managing marquee talents who drive significant fan engagement and media attention.
After they've won one. But without Caitlin Clark, we are 3 years in a month without them beating a team above 500. And I know. They beat the Mystics. They beat the Sky. They beat the whatchamacallit. They lost to the Sparks, in fairness. Like, the Fever lost to the Sun without Caitlin Clark. Can we be honest here? The Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun. They're an embarrassing basketball team. They're an embarrassment of a team.
Media focus surrounding this individual contest demonstrates women's basketball's expanding prominence. Individual storylines increasingly drive coverage and fan investment, mirroring established patterns in other major professional sports organizations. As competition approaches, both teams continue final preparations while managing uncertainty about key personnel decisions. Resolution of availability questions will significantly impact tactical approaches and potentially influence competitive balance throughout the evening.
Now she kept this one short and sweet, bro. This one right here was definitely short and sweet.
Second time
They're excited. They're excited. They want to win. Just Indiana wants, they want this thing called the bag. The kids call it the bag.
See, they want the bag.
They're excited. They're excited. They want to win. Just Indiana wants, they want this thing called the bag. The kids call it the bag.
Following widespread speculation, official confirmation has emerged that the star player will not participate in tonight's Minnesota encounter. This announcement effectively compromises Indiana's competitive prospects for the remainder of their campaign, positioning them in an extremely challenging situation. The franchise would require extraordinary circumstances, potentially including significant roster additions through unusual league interventions or protest-driven personnel movements, to achieve genuine competitiveness. Such scenarios remain entirely entirely theoretical, but represent the only conceivable pathway toward meaningful season accomplishments.
Actually an embarrassment of a team. They lost to the Sparks, who were an embarrassment of a team. At least they beat the Sky and the Wings. And the Mystics, in fairness, the Mystics aren't that far off. Ain't that far off 500. So the Mystics aren't that bad a team. Like, that's not a bad win. That is not a bad win. They're still below 500. But still, the Indiana Fever have almost zero chance tonight. Almost zero chance tonight. And I'm somebody who has predicted.
Tonight's challenge presents Indiana with an obstacle they haven't successfully navigated since mid-2022, defeating quality opposition with winning records. Their performance against successful teams remains historically poor, managing only one victory over the 500 clubs since significant personnel changes occurred. That solitary success coming against Chicago in 2022. This record becomes more remarkable considering Indiana registered 0 victories against winning teams throughout the entire previous season. Their drought against quality competition extended deep into the current campaign until late June when they finally overcame Phoenix. Subsequently, they managed additional victories against Minnesota, New York, and other opponents before the season's midpoint.
Everybody want the bag, man. Everybody want the damn bag.
Yeah, all from being ourselves. Don't get no better than that, do it? Tell you. We hit a gold mine. We don't even know.
We got like 3,500.
We got like 12K followers, but like out of them 12K followers, 3,000 people don't subscribe. Now that's not everybody, but like, it's like popping a bottle in the club. You feel me? Like, you just want to be.
Post-All-Star period brought continued success against Phoenix, despite their final record potentially finishing below .500. Seattle and Connecticut. Las Vegas remained insurmountable throughout their encounters. Their final record against winning clubs achieved parity after that initial breakthrough moment. Without their star players' contributions, the franchise has struggled for over 3 years against teams above. Recent victories over Washington, Chicago, and Dallas provide minimal consolation, while defeats to Los Angeles expose fundamental limitations. Connecticut's victory over Indiana without their featured player reveals organizational weaknesses.
I predicted the Fever's record exactly. I've predicted the Fever to have an exactly 8-8 record. Does that mean I haven't predicted 14 of the 16 games wrong? Yes. I have in fact predicted 14 of 16 games wrong. So, if you guys are fans of the Fever, you guys should be happy that I'm saying the Fever have no chance of winning without Caitlin. Like, I give the Fever a.
That loss to struggling Los Angeles further demonstrates Indiana's constraints when facing even mediocre opposition. Washington represents their most respectable recent conquest, positioning closer to 500 than other victories, making that triumph somewhat meaningful despite falling short of the quality benchmark. Tonight's outlook appears exceptionally challenging for Indiana, despite accurate season record predictions. While missing individual game forecasts, prospects without their star seem virtually non-existent. Victory odds with their player compromised might reach 10%. With full health, perhaps without participation entirely, probability drops to approximately 1%. Broadcasting projections appear overly generous, given Indiana's substantial underdog status approaching double digits.
We had an NFL player came on our stream, dropped 100 subscriptions, and left. Y'all think I'm joking? I'm dead serious. Like, it's literally, and then think about it. Like, when you go drop it, now his name is up there at the top as our highest like bulk subscription. So it's like,
But he got passed now.
yeah, because we got some people on there be showing us love. But it's like a big ass flex.
So what's next for it? What's the big plans?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
taking on
All-Star.
We're going to All-Star.
Stud Buzz taking over All-Star.
Minnesota's advantages become evident through positional analysis. Their primary interior threat will face coverage from Howard, creating favorable matchup situations. Howard cannot effectively contain Smith, while Minnesota possesses multiple defensive options against Boston, including Smith, Shepard, and others contributing without Howard presenting sufficient offensive threat to exploit switching strategies. The Lynx roster features 4 capable defenders for Boston, with Condova and Maria providing necessary size advantages. Indiana's continued reliance on Turner raises questions about coaching decisions and rotation management philosophy.
Would have given the Fever a 10% chance with a hobbled Caitlin, a 30% chance with a healthy Caitlin, and a 0.1 or 1% chance right now. Like, legitimately, I'd say I give them a 1% chance. I want to just see what percentage ESPN gives the Fever to win the game. It was like 20 something percent earlier.
Perimeter matchups strongly favor Minnesota throughout. Carlton exceeds Hull's overall effectiveness significantly. McBride substantially outclasses Mitchell in most categories. While McDonald performs admirably, she cannot match Minnesota's depth and quality at guard positions. Williams represents Minnesota's only potential vulnerability through occasional decision-making lapses. However, Williams also possesses game-changing capabilities, with Heidman providing excellent backup security. Minnesota requires just one guard performing well for comfortable victory margins.
Maybe we're doing a 72-hour stream. Thank you. Look forward to it. Y'all not turned the whole All-Star weekend. We're not turning the camera off.
I believe you.
You should. I'm telling the truth. They did it with Streaming University. Why we can't do it?
Except that All-Star.
We're going to do it at All-Star. The content going to make it show.
Y'all
It's
get
gonna be like segments.
Y'all get ain't no
No,
segment.
bro, the camera ain't
we been
stopping.
rolling.
We got a phone. We got a battery pack. We got a Wi-Fi box. Thank you.
Samuelson's absence impacts Minnesota's bench depth minimally, as organizational culture typically produces solutions. Kosu, despite limited seasonal production, demonstrated capability with efficient scoring against Connecticut recently. Though facing weaker opposition, her youth suggests potential emergence during crucial moments. Miller contributes additional bench strength, creating remarkable depth throughout their entire rotation. Minnesota maintains salary flexibility while fielding this talented roster composition.
It was like 20 something percent earlier that ESPN gave the Fever to win. And they still have the Fever at a 26% chance of winning. Like they still have the basically a minus 9.5. They are plus 9.5 underdogs. I think this could be bad.
The combination of superior talent, depth, coaching expertise, and organizational culture establishes Minnesota as overwhelming favorites. Victory appears nearly impossible for Indiana without their star, and challenging even with availability. The competitive gap between these franchises extends beyond individual player impact, encompassing fundamental roster construction and competitive philosophy differences throughout their organizations.